All right, guys, we're ready to get the show started.
Yeah, it's good for all the background noise out of it.
Let's figure out who's joining us this afternoon. So we got two gentlemen joining us, and I've been waiting for this show for about 3 days. After Lone Wolf told me that he was going to keep me in suspense because Mel had something to share, so I want to know more.
Yeah, this is Lone Wolf. I was kind of shocked saying two gentlemen joining him today. At least there's one of us, and we'll introduce the other gentleman that's with us today.
Wow, gentlemen.
That's what Brian called us.
I think he hasn't talked to us in a while.
Yeah. We'll see what he says at the end of the day.
We can call Mel a gentleman.
Yes.
I don't know if we can call Lone Wolf a gentleman.
Well, okay.
He knows. Lone Wolf knows when to behave.
I try.
So what's new, guys?
Well, Mel's on his cell phone trying to dig up something, but
yeah, Mel has something that I want to hear, and I'm sure the folks out there listening want to hear. Now it's a matter of us getting it set up to where we all get to hear it in good quality over the radio.
Yeah, I should have come in earlier today to try to clean this up or clear this up so that we'd have ready to go.
Well, is there a story that goes with it, Mel? And can we hear the story that goes with the audio?
Yeah, this takes place during the work week, and happens to be near where Lone Wolf's encounters have been, and he. When it started happening to me, because there was 3 days of activity for me while I was in this spot, and then I told Lone Wolf, and he was all excited. He was raring to go up there and be with them again.
Yeah, actually, that was the weekend of the conference in the Tri-Cities.
In Tri-Cities.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So
and you called me that Friday, too.
I said I wasn't going to go because I had something else I needed to do. Instead of going and talking about Bigfoot, I was going up and
meeting.
Actually, hopefully, yes, I was.
You wanted to go live it instead of just talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, are you going to share the location, Mel, or do you just want to keep that to yourself?
Well, I don't know. It's up to Lone Wolf. I don't know if we've given away that location of your encounter.
No. Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Yeah,
I've kind of put it in a general area, but not pinpointed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we want to this area either.
Yeah, but, I know this is special to him, and I didn't stumble on his area. It was just my job duty.
It is in the general area, which is intriguing to me because when we started logging a certain area, I think he just moved out, but he didn't move out very far.
No.
He stayed relatively close to what he was used to.
Right.
And now we're getting back in there again. See, this is how he was chased out the first time, was when we started going there and cruising timber and marking. That's when he was stumbled across because we hadn't been in there years logging. But now I think he found a safe haven for the time being for 15, 20 years.
Yeah, it's been 15 years since the last entry.
Since we re-entered here, and so this is kind of like re-happening again. Once we start putting manpower out in these areas, you're going to come across him if he's there.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to be logging that particular spot where all this activity took place for at least another 14, 15 years because of the cycle. I checked on the rotation, and it wasn't on a rotation. With the next 5 years, so it's going to be a while.
Basically pre-sales.
Yeah.
Way pre-sales.
Yeah.
Lone Wolf, when Mel told you about the location, did you think right away, hey, that's where I was with your encounter?
Looking at the map when Mel told me where he was at, I told him at the time, I said, that's really close to where I had my last encounter. And so I was excited to get back up there and at least hear him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mel,
I basically wanted to at least find some tracks. And
hey, Mel, has there been a map made by you and others from our community of the closed area where there have been more sightings or people hearing noises in certain places? Like, do you have a map that has where the sightings and sounds are, marked?
Yeah, when we started a map probably about somewhere around 15 years ago of all the activity that was coming to us. But within the last 5 years or so, we have not put anything down.
Updated.
Yeah, because it just, you could see the cycle, you could see the rotation, you could see the movement, you could see, where they were going to.
Over the last few years, have you had so many sightings called into you that they were kind of hard to keep track of on the map?
Yeah, because once you put that pin in there, or that mark in there, then you basically almost cover the same spot on the next one. And I used to get phone calls, and I used to get people coming to me saying, "Oh, I just had this happen in such and such an area, and this is when it happened." And then I would look at the map, after the story and everything, it just didn't fit. And then but you're gonna get people that are gonna try to hoax something to you to see how well what you do. Good at your craft, I guess.
Yeah.
And I got those every great once in a while where something 40 miles came out of nowhere, compared to at that time you've got all these little marks, tick marks right here and here and here and here and here, and then this one little anomaly sticks way out. It just didn't make any sense.
Hey Mel, in the last 15 years, was there a year in particular where you and those who were working with you had the most people contact you by phone and come to see you to say they had heard or seen something or smelled something? I can't leave that out.
There hasn't been any one year that has outdone another year. It's been really consistent, but over the years now it's kind of tailed off because more people are getting into this, and more people are doing their own type of investigations and keeping a lot of this to themselves so that they can go out there and take a look around. And that's understandable. It's bound to happen where somebody else is ready to take over the reins and then start their own type of record on this.
And I have to say, I think a lot of these people that really get interested in wanting to do their own investigations, I'll bet most of them have had a sighting of their own at one time in their life.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what pushes you to the edge, or to wanting to find out more.
Yeah, been through the same thing we have.
Exactly.
Who am I going to tell? Who can I trust with this? Is it going to cost me my job? Is it going to cost? Is it going to cost some money to somebody else? You don't know what reporting it to somebody's going to do.
Yeah.
Guys, before we go,
closest members of your family thinking you're just flat crazy.
But they already thought that about Lone Wolf. They already thought that. Okay.
They already think. I owe you one.
If anybody out there,
I got you.
If anybody out there wants to call to ask a question, make a comment, share a story, I don't want to forget to say this, guys, because we always wait until the last minute sometimes, and then anyway, 865-3900. You can remain anonymous. You can just make the comment or ask the question to me, and I'll write it down. Or you can join us live on the radio. So 865.
That's my name, Anonymous.
3900. I want to put that out there.
Sometimes too.
Okay, so Mel.
Yes.
Share with us the story. I've been waiting for a few days. I want to hear the story of what happened.
Okay. I tried to get a coworker to call in, but he had to go home.
Okay.
Lives in Oklahoma, and he was there the first day that we started coming across. And I've talked about trail markers before, and how they basically get around certain areas just by following these markers that they leave in the woods. And so we were finding a bunch of these, and concentrated in the size of this room, this 15 by 15 room. We were finding at least 20 in one spot. And then as we progressed and worked through this unit, we were finding more, and there were 30 in the next spot, all within this 15 by 15 space. And I'd never seen anything like this before. I see one or two, in a certain direction, but that many, and they were all about at the same height, right around 8.5 feet up, and they were snapped in a kind of a northeast to southwest direction, and they weren't, in all different directions. They were crossing each other. So it was like, yeah, I went this way and then this way, and then you would follow those and go down to another spot, and then you would come across another break, and there would be another bunch of these tree breaks in the same direction as the first set. So I started mapping this ridge line as we were coming across it with my GPS. And then finally you could see the line from here to here to here to here as they moved along that ridge line. So we, called it a day after figuring all this out. Came back in the next day. The next time I came in, I was alone because he had to go home, and I started working this allotment out. And if something weird was going on with, you get that feeling of no noise, and when you were in there that day before, the birds, squirrels,
everything's making noise.
Yeah, this was eerily quiet, and with all the smoke that was in the air and everything, the visibility was down to 1/3 of a mile. And people had asked me, well, do you think the forest fires are moving them, making them migrate to other different areas?
I'd venture guess and say, yes, possibly.
Mm-hmm. And with all this smoke in the air, I mean, you have no idea where you're going because of the visibility. You don't know where it's coming from, and so I believe that the movement is happening. And I think that's what was going on this day when I walked back into this spot. I had heard the squirrels started going off behind me, and I was like, I alerted them.
Yep.
They're on alert now. They're going to warn everybody else that I'm in the area. But as I kept working to the south, nothing was going off in front of me or beside me. Everything was going off like about 200, 300 feet behind me. You could hear the squirrels going off. You can hear the birds.
Typical wood noises.
Mm-hmm. And so I kept working to the north, putting my timbered plots in, and then always behind me were the squirrels and the birds. I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Are they telling on you?
I don't know if they're telling on me. They're telling on something that's out there.
Yeah.
And so I reached the bottom half of this allotment, and then I started working to the east, and then I had to go back up to the north, and that's when I noticed that the animals kept going off way behind me. And so I put myself on a high alert that I was being followed by a bear or a cougar or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I got ready to go back to the north, and there was this rock outcropping out in front of me, about 250 foot rock cliff that was in front of me. And I had to figure a way of going around it and getting over it. And when I got 3/4 of the way up, I had stopped. And quiet, no noise, no squirrels, no birds, smoke all around me. Visibility was really poor. And in this area, you could see far to the south and nothing. And so I'm sitting there about 15 minutes, and then I hear something moving real softly and slowly, taking a just imagine that you have a large, you got a large foot, and then when you plant it, you can hear the sticks initially snap, and as this foot progresses down to the toes and lifts up, you can hear that snap, snap, crash, crash, snap, snap.
That's 1 foot.
It's just 1 foot,
Yeah.
and then there was a pause in between that, and then the other one. What foot it was, I don't know, but the same scenario where you could hear the initial snapping and everything muffled underneath it, snapping and breaking, and I heard 5 of these, and they were down below me, dense regen of grand fir and shrubbery, so that I couldn't see through it, but I could hear down there as this thing was coming up the hill towards me. And then after the 5th step, that's when I said, okay, I kind of have a feeling I know what's behind me or what's down there, and it's been following me since I got here because of the squirrels and the birds always being behind me going off. So I picked up my gear, put it on, and then I crashed through the brush to get out of this rock outcropping and through the shrubbery. And then that's when I stopped, looked over to where the sound was coming from, and nothing. It had stopped. So I had figured he thought or she thought that I had moved on up the hill. I had been sitting there for a long time, giving me some time and giving us some space between each other so that they could continue to follow me up the hill. And when I jumped off the rock into the shrub, made all the noise, then that's when it knew it gave its position up, or
So you were actually going up the rock.
I was going up
face.
the rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wasn't crashing through the brush. I was climbing the rock, scaling the rock.
Other than kicking rocks loose, that'd been pretty.
Yeah, there was no sound.
Yeah.
I wasn't making any sound or anything like that, and not like I would when I got to the top when I was going through the brush again. And I looked over, and there was this branch. It was about 9 feet up, and it was shaking violently like this. And there was no wind, and it just kept shaking and shaking and shaking back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, wow, that's weird. No wind.
Yeah.
I could see this thing moving, and I just kept going up, down, left, right, trying to figure out or see what
Trying
it
to
was
see
doing.
something, what's shaking it.
Yeah, and I couldn't see it. And so as I started working up to the next couple of plots, the recording I took came next in order. Back over to where I told you,
Yeah. Yep.
down the hill from me, in your area, I hear this whoop, 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 and it did it 7 or 8 times. And after the 3rd or 4th one, I reached into my pocket and I grabbed my phone and I started recording. And then after that sound was done, a higher pitched came after it, and I was like, no way. And this was about 11:30 in the
I
afternoon.
know. That's what you were telling me. It was around 11 or 11 something.
Mm-hmm.
And right off the bat, I was thinking a male and a female.
Yeah, I was.
You
thinking,
said you heard a third one, though.
the 3rd one was the one that was following me.
Oh, okay.
The footsteps that were following me back up the hill. And I was able to, in this area, I was able to get phone reception. And then this happened to be our short day. And I got a text message from my supervisor saying my short day, I was off at 1, so get back in. And then I picked up my stuff and walked back to the
wouldn't
truck.
have to ask me twice.
Yeah. And
Of all days, maybe I'd like to be out here the rest of the day.
I would have sat out there for more.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to, and so that's when I got back in. I told you about it, and then
I couldn't wait. It was.
And then the second day was kind of quiet. I was parked down below and had to walk up.
You called me on a Thursday, didn't you?
Yeah, I called you on Thursday.
And I didn't go up Friday. I went up Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And then on the 3rd day, it happened again to the activity of being followed.
Yeah.
But I was being followed on my west and my east side, my east flanks, as I was working south. And I could hear the one that was on the east side of me pick up and then run. Then I could hear the brush cracking, and I could feel the heavy footsteps when it initially took off. But the one on the west side of me was still there, didn't move at all. And he kept following me down as I worked my way down back into the bottom of this allotment.
Mel, when you think about it, I know what you're out there doing, and you're pretty much running strips, cruise strips,
right
through back and forth, and maybe you were getting close to their nest or whatever.
I was looking.
They were getting worried about you getting closer, and each time you ran a new strip, you were getting closer and closer to them, maybe trying to scare you off. Or,
Yeah, Yeah, and I was, my heart rate was going.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
And when I couldn't figure out why the one on the left, on the east side of me, took off as quick as it did. But as I started working my cruise strip down,
Yeah.
the area opened up on the east side. Yeah, it opened up to an Oregon oak, open pine, and
it would have been in the open.
It would have been in the open, so
Yeah.
that's what I figured why it took off.
Okay.
The one on the west stayed where it was because it was
Still in the timber.
Yeah, it was still in timber, and it was still
Concealed from you.
Yes. And so he stuck around with me for a good 5 hours that day, just
Wow.
tailing behind me, and then when I finally finished up and worked my way back north to the truck, he took off for a while. I could hear him run down the hill, and then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to be safe here.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he's gone.
Yeah. And then I had at least 7 more plots to do, and I was into the 5th plot when I heard something run back up towards me, and I finished out the next 2 plots, and then I told him, thank you, I'm gone, I'm out of here, you're not going to see me for a while. And then I put my hand up in the air and I told him goodbye.
Yeah.
Now,
Then Mel sends me up there.
during these encounters, Mel, were there any smells?
Oh yeah. There was 2 different smells. There was the putrid pungent smell, your favorite, and it was pretty disturbing to the nose.
Intense.
And then on the 3rd day, it was more of a sulfur smell. And
Really?
yeah, and I couldn't explain the sulfur smell because I thought it was the fires at first,
Yeah.
the smoke in the air. But I sat there for a while, and I knew when the wind had changed direction, I knew where it was coming from. And so I sat there and I waited and waited and waited, and then as the wind changed direction on me, I didn't pick it up coming from the east or from the north or from the south. It came from the west, and I was like, I've not had that pure sulfur smell, so that's why I thought it was the fire at first, or the smoke in the air. So yeah, two different smells associated with this activity.
How would you describe sulfur?
Like
Rotten eggs.
rotten eggs, or when you initially strike a match,
Yeah.
a wooden match, and then you
Get a strong sulfur
You get
smell.
that strong sulfur smell out of it.
Well, let's see if we got this sound. Hopefully, everything worked out, and we're gonna play the sound now. Is there anything you want to say before we play it?
Yeah, it was recorded. 23 seconds of it was recorded, and with the type of equipment that I had, the smartphone, the microphone isn't built to pick up long distance sounds and everything like that. So when I first played it back and heard it, I was like mad because I had it, I can hear it, and then but you had to put earphones on in order to hear at least one of them.
Yeah.
And then that's what my friend David Ellis ended up doing, clearing up the one. So what you're going to hear
And
is
amplifies it a little bit.
the single howl, but it's going to be repeated 5 times.
Okay.
Okay.
And so let's hope this works.
Hey,
I want
that'd be
everybody to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's try it right now. I'm sorry. I had to turn your guys' microphones off so we could,
That's
so you guys will be able to hear it. So.
get me to talk behind
Here we
your
go.
back.
Yeah.
Okay, again, that's my fault. Here. Now somebody out there's like, come on, get it together. It's me. I'm the one doing the board up.
You're the
Now-
professional here.
Yeah, I know. Here we go. Here we
are
go.
right behind your back. Say the same thing.
Just leave them alone.
Just leave them alone.
Oh, man, I forgot about that. Here we go.
That's classic. That's
you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Lone Wolf? Share with us.
That was no coyotes out there. That's something you don't hear typically in the woods.
Well, I want to hear it one more time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it again.
Do it again.
And I'm going to turn it up loud in here, and I'm going to take my headphones off and listen without my headphones.
Okay.
So here we go. Let's hear it one more time, folks out there listening.
Everybody wants to. That's bad. That's really bad. That's good.
What is that water in the background, or what's the noise? Just wind?
Yeah, it's what he calls artifacts that he's trying to eliminate out of it, but it's a lot of it is the hiss from the microphone recording the. If you watch I'll show you the video that it came from and how, clean, crisp the video is, but the audio is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what would make that noise almost like it was a whistle or something?
Well, this is digitally cleaned up, so it's going to have a higher pitch to it. And what I heard had a deeper tone to it. Because of the artifacts, as he says, that are in it, he had to manipulate and then bring the sound up because it was so far out, and he wanted to bring it forward. And so in order to do that, it's like when you zoom in on a camera too, you get that clicking or that hum noise when you zoom the lens in.
Noise,
yeah. It was the same thing that he had to kind of go through and clean up.
I was basically going, ooh, it just kind of sounds like it's
Right.
higher pitch.
Right, yeah, and then it gives it that higher pitch, but the pitch that I heard was a deeper, ooh,
Yeah, like that.
ooh.
Mel does it better, so that's what I hear.
And then the female, I was told
That
it's
almost
a
I
female.
almost want to think that was a female.
Yeah, and it could have been, but
Yeah.
then it on the last one it changed up its pitch to the, ah! And it took, from the 7 or 8 howls that it gave earlier, and then the single higher pitched scream,
Yeah.
I guess, afterwards. It could have been 2, it could have been 1.
Yeah.
And the second one that was out there was the one that was following me, and maybe the communication was, where are you at, what's going on? And then there was wood knocking that was going on that day too. And so I had wood knocking, I had the smells, I had howls, I had screams.
He gets all the good stuff.
And then I even found
And he's at work, and I go up there and he's like,
and then I on my last day after I did find a 14-inch impression that I'll show you guys after the program too. And
all right.
and you'll see me have my palm down in there, and the heel of the foot is about that much wider than the palm of my hand, about an inch wider. So everything but a sighting that was in the last couple of weeks.
But you feel like they had
Exciting,
seen
even
you.
though without a sighting.
You feel like they were watching you, though.
Oh yeah, I was being followed. I was being watched. I was being followed because this area is roadless. There's no roads into here.
Trust me.
And when you've
Couple.
got and there
Little spurs.
the little spurs that are blocked off,
Yeah.
and then people have been
Yeah.
driving around. But it really is kind of roadless for almost 250 acres of it. It's a comfortability of them being there by themselves
High.
is high.
Yeah.
And then when you got some Yahoo like me walking around out there, walking into their home, you're gonna
It's
try to find out
not
what's
that
going
you're
on.
strange looking, Mel, but you're strange looking to them, I
I'm
think.
hairless.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. They're hairy.
well,
I'm hairless.
this poor guy, he's got no hair.
Yeah, he looks kind of sick. So, make sure he makes it out of here.
What if the Bigfoot describe us as having a stench.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm sure you do.
I think he's coming up with a new name for you. Not fence walker, but maybe stenchy.
We call you a stink butt. Sorry, that's on the radio, isn't it? Oh well.
Yeah. Did you guys go huckleberry picking?
I did.
Did you guys do some camping?
No, I was there for the whole day though.
Why didn't you camp? You scared of Bigfoot?
I was thinking about everything we had talked about on the way there and while there. But then as I got busy picking on Potato Hill, I kind of forgot. I don't know why I didn't camp. Could be that I was a little nervous, possibly, yeah.
Potato Hill's a hot spot during huckleberry season. It has smell.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. I got 6 calls of people having activity up on Potato Hill this year.
At least almost half a dozen every year.
Yeah.
I was there the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. Wouldn't that have been 2 days after you had heard and saw the branch moving?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I was thinking about it. I was thinking about what I may smell, what I may hear. We didn't see or hear or smell anything, though.
He was thinking about getting home. It's getting dark.
Yeah,
I want to get home.
Yeah. But I went up to Stampede Pass the week before that, and we were looking for places to pick. And I was told Lost Lake, which is kind of west of Stampede Pass. And then I remembered a spot that I was up along the Pacific Crest Trail behind Snoqualmie Pass. And I decided to take the family up and go camp, pick berries. Well, when I first got there, I was like, wow, look at all this. It's the first thing that I always do when I go camping, and if I'm in a new spot, is I look for the markers. I look for activity, where it's going to come from. And so I had 2 spots picked out where they would come in. And so when we had dinner, set camp up, had dinner, and then turned in for the night, I left a couple of things out on the tables.
Let me cut in here for a minute. So you set your family up camping right in the Bigfoot hotspot. Here we go. He's using his family as bait. Okay, there, go ahead.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Yeah.
I like it though. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's why I wanted Ryan to go too.
Really? Because I mean, he's perfect.
He wouldn't have known.
I know.
Lone Wolf knows.
Yeah, I know. He wouldn't have known he was the bait. Oh my God. Yeah.
So about an hour and a half after we turned in, this is about 10:30, somewhere around there, you could hear them come in. And they came in the direction that I knew that they was going to come in, just from the markers that I was following. And I was laying there and I'm listening to all this light steps going on the gravel.
He's creeping, teepee creeping.
Mm-hmm. And my family were all sleeping in the same tent. There was 4 of us had gone up. And I get the arm squeeze, and then don't say anything, just go like this or nod my head saying, yeah, there's something out there, just not to make noise. And then the activity starts when you do wrestle around on the inside, whether you're on a sleeping bags, which aren't quiet,
Just rolling around, roll over.
And so I had to improvise. I had to fake that I was asleep. I had the snore going on so that they would keep moving. They hear the people still sleeping inside. Well, they're free to move around a little bit, more. So that's what I started doing. And then we had the pickup parked here, tent set up here. Activity came in from this direction behind the truck, and we had a kitchen awning set up where the kitchen and the stoves and everything else, tables and everything were on the inside. And on the inside, I had bags. I had a bag set up, and it's a big, heavy plastic bag, so it was like a crinkle toy. You know, you went over there and you squeezed it, then you hear.
Yeah.
That's what we kept hearing. The awning was left open for that reason. Well, zipper accident.
Yeah.
Kid went and took the zipper and flipped it all the way down, and then it was no good anymore. So you opened it up, and you can't zip it up and down anymore. So I rolled it up and tied it up. So they had access to these little bags on the inside, and that's all you kept hearing. And then when it got quiet, they stopped. So you had to keep the snoring going on in order for them to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
The planes, the jets going over, and when they went over, the louder it got. And then when it got quiet again, then it stopped. And then the brushing on the tent on this side of us, you could hear just this thing go.
Your fingers across it.
Run fingers across it, and then so
Everybody else here to just you?
there were two of us that heard.
Okay.
The other two were asleep, and where the activity was going on was by Faydon, and you know Faydon comes into the studio with us, and so she's laying there, and she wanted activity to happen, but she slept through the whole thing, and then after the tent swipe, then the significant other was just like this, shaken, and had enough. And
Never again.
And so that's when I said, all right, that's enough. You guys can go now.
Yeah.
And then you could not hear anything after that. And then I go, does anybody have to go to the bathroom? You better do it now. Nobody wanted to go outside. And then Faydon woke up, and then she goes, what did I miss? What did I miss?
No, man. That's bad. It just missed all the fun.
But there's no more camping. They're done camping with me.
Even the girls?
All of them.
Everybody?
Yeah. No camping.
Smells like a lightning rod for Bigfoot, isn't he, man? It's like,
Yeah.
I bet Ryan will go with you. Take Ryan up.
Because I was told
I'll go with you and guard you.
we are going to campgrounds from now on where there's hundreds of people around us. No more end of the road things.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can see that.
All right, so following up on when Mel had the encounter and he heard the sounds, you go back up that Saturday, and what happens when you go up, Lone Wolf?
Actually, it was one of those really hot weekends, and I got up there Saturday about noon, probably one of the hottest part of the days, and I wandered around until about 6 or 7, and unfortunately I didn't have any really cool experiences like Mel did. They might have been afraid of me, or they liked Mel better, I guess, and. Anyway, I had a good time walking around up there, and I was basically just hoping to come across some footprints that I could cast. I had all my plaster and pack of water with me. So I was good to go, and I just didn't come across anything.
No tracks, no.
No.
Okay.
I think like the CSI team came in and wiped the area
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah. Somebody come in and cleaned it up.
Cleaned it up. FBI, somebody.
Bigfoot probably. Oh man, I left some tracks back there. I better go clean them up.
So you didn't make it to the event in the Tri-Cities?
No, I was planning on going until this. And I'd much rather have done what I did.
Boy, it was expensive this year too, wasn't it?
Was it?
$45.
I always kind of ride on Bobby's coattail. Bobby said invited me down, and they tend to let me in for free.
Yeah.
Lone Wolf shows up. Bobby said, and they say,
Yeah.
Sir, who is Bobby? He says, Bob Gimlin.
Oh. Actually, they kind of they start recognizing me down there. Oh yeah, I remember you from last time, and so.
Well, remember it was last year when Lone Wolf was on the Tri-Cities news with that.
With his outfit.
Yeah, kind of razzing him a little bit.
Yeah.
I have fun wherever I go. I just don't brag about it anymore. Bobby has a lot of fun though.
I've never seen Bob in action. I've heard plenty of stories
Smooth.
about the
You could
autographs,
you could take some notes.
the pictures, the standing ovations,
Yeah.
the people knocking down the door and Mel having to say, all right, stop.
All right, stop
He's
it.
done.
Yeah, he's done.
I've heard about it all, but I've yet to see it in action. So that's one of my goals, is to see it in action sometime.
I don't think I want to comment on this. It's just good luck.
Yeah, it's.
They're gonna kill him.
I don't know when I think the Sasquatch Summit over in Ocean Shores is the next event coming up in. I think it's the first 2 weeks in November. November we'll be busy. I think that weekend.
We're supposed to.
Oh, that
we're
was
supposed
the
to
other
tell,
thing that was supposed to be
right.
brought up that I wasn't told about yet because we were waiting for right now.
I just kind of
You almost
led you
forgot.
on. Yeah, I just led you on a little bit.
I get that a lot in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well-
you got to come to work. You know, you got to be at work in order for us.
I was gonna say just write your name down on a napkin so you remember it.
Okay,
Name and number.
what's in November? I want to know. The listeners want to know. What's the plan? What is this you guys got going on?
You're included, not us guys.
Yeah, everybody on the radio station is included. Reggie, you, Lone Wolf, and Bobby. You got me saying.
Now you
got
you
me
may
saying it.
if you join us and you have to, you may get to witness this. first.
Yeah,
No,
you will
call
get to
him
witness him
Bobby.
in action. Then,
Yeah.
in
It's
November.
it's something to witness once in your life, right?
Well, what is it? Share with me what it is.
Mm.
What is it?
It's going to be. It was going to be part of a. We were all going to be grouped together as part of an final Indian Days Indian summer celebration down at the Columbia River Gorge Discovery Center. But with the fires and everything that happened, them closing down the interstate, closing down all the highways and stuff because of the smoke, they had to cancel and reschedule. And so instead of grouping all of us together, the coordinator, Sue Buse, decided to shoot off us into a different night. So November 10th, is that it? November 10th?
Yes.
November 10th, which is going to be a Friday, and
At
We're
7 or 7:30.
7 o'clock.
7.
7 o'clock is going to be. It's going to be a dinner, a lasagna dinner, from what I was told, and then afterwards, going to do a presentation, and then after the presentation, there's going to be us sitting on the stage as a panel, and taking questions from the audience and everything about the radio show, about who we are, and how, et cetera, et cetera. So
That's exciting.
yeah. And so we're still working out the kinks on it and everything. And if you go to the Columbia Gorge Interpretive Center website, they've already started advertising for it. And so they're going to clean up the language a little bit more and add on
Yeah.
some stuff. But it's supposed to start at 7, but with Bob going down now, they want to do like a meet and greet. So a meet and greet before the everything starts, like an hour before. So starting right around 5:30 or 6 o'clock,
yeah.
we're all going to do a meet and greet before the dinner, and then do the presentation, put everybody to sleep, and then call it a night.
So that's when I'll get to see Bob in action.
Yeah.
When he's with the people, signing autographs, signing body parts.
Well, you
Yeah.
may be, you may be signing too.
Yeah, you never know. Reggie had some pictures he wanted to share with you guys.
Oh, is this from?
What Creek?
Yes.
glad I brought my glasses.
See, that's what we need too, right there, is a cage. We need to get a cage built.
Oh yeah.
I think this is where the quote would come in, just leave him alone.
Just yeah.
I'll leave that one alone anyway.
InternationalBigfootConference.com. Is
Yeah,
that the one in
that's the
Ocean
one.
Shores?
No, that's the Tri-Cities.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
okay.
always down there.
Yeah. Are you going to Reggie?
That's the one that was when we went to Willow Creek.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one Bob went down there with that truck.
Yeah.
But that truck was in a parade, so it wasn't
Russell Accord, I think is his name, right? Yeah. Yeah. Are you going down for the 50th then? Yeah, down to Willow Creek.
No, Willow Creek.
Yeah.
No,
No. Yeah.
maybe the Columbia one.
Okay.
Mel, are you going to the 50th at Willow Creek?
No. I don't go to those anymore. I've too much going on to single a thing out to attend, and I mean, it's
a long ways to go,
it's
and
a
kind
long-
of it cost some money. And
Wasn't that the one
in
in
time.
May? Because that's when Bobby Gillen was down there, and he
Yeah.
had a street named after.
yeah,
him.
after street name after him. Yeah.
I was there at that time.
But I think this is the 50th anniversary of the actual sighting, correct? The actual day of the filming of the Patterson and Gimlin film.
Yeah.
What's happening here in October?
Yeah, I
don't
don't. I'm
know.
not keeping up on
Uh-uh.
it. No, we've had guests call in from California that are
Yeah.
going, and they keep asking me if I'm going to attend, and I tell them no.
I probably won't be able to make it.
I've made 2 trips down to Willow Creek, and I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Enough for me. I don't. Like I said, I don't travel that. The last time I went down there, I almost got killed, and the guy that I went with was he's from Benton City, and we were driving back, and he was the camp coordinator. So we set up the camp and took it all apart, and then brought it all back to his place. So on the drive home, I didn't know how tired he was. So we're driving back, and we just hit Oregon, and then we had to take a left, and I think it was 97. Hit 97 and started going north after that, and then I dozed off, and then next thing you know, I'm shaking awake left to right, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Fell asleep.
Oh,
I fell asleep at the wheel. And then because we were towing the trailer was
Was
making
whipping
it
you.
and whipping
Oh,
it, yeah.
my God.
And I took over after that. I didn't.
Try and take a quick nap and see what happens.
Yeah. So I think that was going to be my last trip
Yeah.
down to. Where's Grandpa at?
I'm wondering the same thing. I wanted him to be here.
Yeah, because when I would go to the store or around town,
Oh, yeah.
he was like, "Oh yeah," asking questions. When's Renee gonna be here? When's so and so, so and so, and so and so? I was like, man, I don't know. I mean,
That made me laugh.
I see Grandpa walking all over town.
Yeah.
In front of McDonald's, in front of Safeway, over here across the road at that
Well, did he
barbecue
share the
place.
story with you, Mel, where he was somewhere near Portland and Bob was there at a conference or an event, and they told
oh yeah.
they told him the price.
Yeah, go ahead.
They tell Grandpa the price, and Grandpa laughs at them and says, "Oh, I'll just wait until he comes to the radio station." Like he couldn't believe it cost that much money. Now, is that what he told you?
Yeah, yep. There was a Bigfoot Days down in Gresham, outside of Portland, and he had gone down there, and Cliff Barrickman was the attraction
Okay.
that day. And so you donated $5 or something like that to initially get into the area, and then if you wanted to see Cliff, then you paid the additional $45.
Yeah, it wasn't Bob. It was
$45 on
Cliff.
top of that?
Yeah, another 45 on
Whoa,
top of
That's a
that.
bank breaker for me.
45 for Cliff.
I mean, it's not like he's not worth it, but I mean, I just can't afford it.
Yeah, but we can see Bob whenever Mel
I'd have to
gets a
lie.
hold of him and asks him.
I know Cliff. He's my brother.
And I'm sure Cliff probably told the same stories he's told us over the phone on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. And I know I just couldn't see when I first saw the flyer for it, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, who's going to pay $45?
Wow.
That is a lot of money. I go, you better break a lot of records between now and then, you know?
Yeah.
How much money are people going to be paying for the event where we're going to be in November?
Be paying us.
How much?
We are the event.
Well, Bob's going to be with us. Okay.
Yeah,
See?
So the
Yeah.
prices just went up.
Yeah.
Above 45 anyway.
Yeah. I'm thinking about $55.
No, the what? So $5 for you and 50 for
Bobby.
For Bobby.
$2 for Mel.
yeah.
$1 for Lone Wolf.
Yeah, I might
75
be
cents
left
for
out in
me.
the parking lot with $1.
$0.25 for Grandpa. I'm
The
joking.
best part of that is there's no tax in Oregon, so that's all.
Yeah,
That's all
really,
profit
yeah.
for you.
90 cents.
Now, at this event, are we going to be required to talk, or do we just kind of sit and smile, Mel?
No, you can just sit and smile and look cute, but we'll do all the talking.
Okay. Somebody
Well,
may
you
have
better
a
do
question.
some talking because
Somebody may have a question of what it's like for the guy who's on the fence.
On the fence,
that's
yeah.
stuck with us.
Yeah.
What's it like being stuck with these guys for an hour every other Friday?
You know, because I announce who's going to be on the show, you know, through the KYNR Facebook page and everything. And so Sue, she's been around, and I've talked down there, like I think it was 3 years ago when Cliff Bergman and myself were speakers, and then there was another gentleman from Warm Springs, Oliver Kirk, I think it was if I remember his name.
Has he been on the show before?
No, not
Oh, okay.
Oliver, no.
Recognize that.
And so she's, you know, seen the write-ups and everything, and has always wanted to hear the show. Everybody wants to hear the show. Do we have the capability of the internet and all that? And I keep telling them no.
Well, they're about to hear and see the show. It won't be live, but as long as all goes well with this recording, today we just started that. I was really hoping Bob was here. I mean, no offense to you guys, but
Oh, yeah.
I tell people,
Offense taken them.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking that.
I'll tell people about Bob and they'll get excited, and they're not Bigfoot enthusiasts the way you guys are. But Bob's name, or Bobby, people know Bob Gimlin. They've heard about Bob Gimlin. They have a story about Bob Gimlin. And I'm thinking all these times we're not recording these, you know, we can start, but that was like Bob's gift to all of us in this community because it was only for us. But
Yeah.
we've had a lot of shows.
It'd be
where-
archival, actually. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I mean, it's something you could keep in the archives of. You know, we actually there's a letter behind the picture that I gave you, but basically it says one day you're going to look back at this when you're an old like us and say, I knew them two crazy bastards. And he's going to laugh just like that.
Well, the show in please remind me her name. Miss Shirley came by,
Yeah.
and when Bob was not being mean spirited at all. He's got this honesty about him. That was one of the funniest radio moments I've had in all my 11 years of doing radio.
Out of all people, right? Bobby knew Miss Shirley. Probably back before
But
electricity.
the mystery of how she came to be involved.
From the get-go.
Yeah, to me is like, okay, how did she hear, find this place? Anyway, it's a cool story. I don't even know the answers to the questions of the mystery of Miss Shirley, but I like the story of it.
That's cool.
Well, I mean, all goes along with the subject that we're talking about, right?
It is very mysterious.
He's got groupies of all ages, I guess.
That's you.
Dimensional.
That's you. It's not me. She doesn't show up and Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
might
that's
be
right.
listening.
Because look at the guy he brought back from the Tri-Cities too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Cuss?
Cuss, yeah.
Yeah.
I kept calling him Gus. And then what was the lady on the phone from like the Cedro Woolley area? And I was calling her the wrong name.
Linda, or you calling her? Who was it? It was Linda,
Yeah,
Lisa.
I can't remember her name now.
I did it like 5 times.
Lori.
Lori,
Yeah.
Guys, the hour is up.
When you're left out.
So November 10th,
Yeah.
I think starting at 6 and running until
I'm going to go with 6.
until like probably around 9.
Yeah, that's good.
And then the dinner is going to cost $19, and if you don't want to attend the dinner, the entry into the presentation is going to be I think it was $5.
Okay. Can we get Bob on in 2 weeks or possibly?
Oh yeah, he'll be here. He's
Okay.
down in Pendleton right now.
All right. Everybody out there, enjoy your weekend. Final comments
Yeah.
and thoughts, guys?
No, everybody have a great weekend. Be careful and try and stay out of the smoke.
Yep. See y'all in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
We are the voice of the Yakama Nation.